Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Ascending Abundance YouTube channel. In this channel I usually cover crypto, real estate, stocks, you have seen the history, but today I'd like to cover a business. I have not had a true business outside of real estate in my life and decided to open one. It's pretty exciting. It's not going to be a full swing business, it's more of a kind of a practice kind of run, and I will explain quickly. So my hobby is smoking meats. I love smoking different types of meats. This is chicken in front of you. I smoked bacon, which is sweet in maple syrup and brown sugar. This is how it looks. I have tried sausages. I've been doing this for a few years. People have been asking me if I'm selling, if I'm taking orders. I always said no. I'm petrified of somebody getting sick. And also, this is not going to make me any money. But at some point, I have figured, why not? Why not sell to friends some amount of meat, and let's just treat it as a business. What I have at the back of my mind is that my children, as well as I, just want to see how business actually operates. One thing is to read about it, listen on YouTube channel, follow some great business people and so on. The other thing is to start a small business from ground up. Pretty exciting. And I can tell you how that sort of turns out so far. So it's been about 2 weeks. What I've done is I cooked up 5 different types of meats and fish, and I first decided to check the selling price. So this is not going to be the advertising for my meats. This is going to be a kind of a discussion about the business. So first of all, check the selling price to make sure that there's enough profit margins, and check the costs of producing the product. So go to the local daily markets to look at my competition and kind of figured out that I'm in Canada. Smoked chicken would cost, say, $25 per kilo, and bacon would cost, let's say, $30 per kilo. Just kind of randomly, because there's dozens and dozens of different products. Sort of averaging this out. It's homemade. I know the recipe. People kind of trust me if they're friends. They know I'm not adding any extra salts, any kind of fillers, any kind of artificial flavoring, no liquid smoke. This is actual smoke, etc. So I can charge the prices as per deli. Okay, great. Next stop is the cost. So what are my ingredients? So it's obviously, let's say, the chicken or the bacon. Then we are saying it's spices. Then the operation of the smoker, so we smoking pellets, electricity, cleaning supplies, gloves, let's say water for cleaning my stuff, sanitizer, wonderful. Then once it's prepared, we need to put it in vacuum, so the vacuum itself, the bags cost money, and a few other things. So all in all, calculate my costs, compare it to my selling price, there's between 50 to, let's say, 100% profit margin on this meat. Okay, wonderful. There's money to be made. Now let's think about the operation of the business. So buying meats, well, I have to buy for my family anyway, so that's not an extra kind of work in any way. Covering them in spices doesn't take too much time. It's just really sprinkle it over, and I do that if I smoke my own. A little bit of time. Then obviously the operation and the setup of the smoker, checking the meat, rotating the meat, that takes a little bit of an effort, and then packaging it up, weighing it on the scale, putting the labels, getting orders, delivering those orders. And I'm not going to do any delivery, but people are going to come, they will pick it up in a vacuum from the fridge, so everyone wants to talk to you. It takes a little bit of time. So all in all, you look at that profit margin, divide by the number of hours, totally not worse for me. I mean, I have a real estate, stock, crypto, and job. I have plenty of income coming from other sources that is way bigger than anything like the sausage could bring me. I mean, let's say I'm making $10 to $15 per kilo, let's say, would be the net profit. And looking at it, how many kilos can I fit into one smoker? 5 kilos of meat, let's say. They don't even come out as 5, they come out as 4 because of the loss in weight during hot cooking. And then here's my sausage when it's ready. So this is raw, this is ready. So totally not worth my time, but it's still interesting. Like I said, okay, let's look at it as a business. If I get volumes, if I get a lot of orders, if people like it, I mean, maybe I can rent a space, maybe I can do something else. And I'd love to engage my kids. They're teenagers, they're learning, they're thinking through what they want to do. So here's an example of how the business operates. Plain and simple, in front of them, starting from scratch, and it has decent profit margins. What I would say does not work for this business. So first of all, it's food, so there's got to be safety. So immediately I started researching what do I need to do. There's a food handler certification that is fairly easy to obtain. They kind of teach you all the basics of handling food, and somebody who's offering food service, I should do that. So I went ahead. It's fairly straightforward. You do something like 6 to 8 hours of studying. You take an online test. Nobody's kind of checking you prepare the food. You just need to know. It's a knowledge-based test. So I got my food handler certification. Okay, so far so good. As part of the food handler certification, I learned that my facility at home is not really the proper premises to cook or sell food. Number one, I'm doing it from home. So that's a commercial activity in the residential area. Number two, my home insurance does not support people coming to my office or to my store for business purposes. It is also not good from insurance purposes to have commercial, let's say, cooking operation in the backyard. There's probably risks beyond just people coming in and coming out. Potentially like slips and falls, liability. There's somebody could get poisoned, right? Plus, I could just burn up the place if I keep on smoking and cooking. God knows what risks are there. So I need to call my insurance and find out what's happening with the home. Then there is obviously insurance for the business. What if somebody does get food poisoning? What if something happens? Somebody does slip and fall? Who's covering me in that case? So there's got to be a business insurance. So I found out that one. I found out it costs about $250 a month, and it covers me for any kind of like liability in terms of preparing and processing and selling food. So that one exists, and I've checked that out. But that becomes a fixed cost. So now you need an X number of kilos of meat to cover those insurance costs. So let's say insurance cost is $250. Let's say my home insurance also goes up by $100. That's $350. If I'm making 10 to 15 bucks per kilo, now I need to prepare and sell 30-ish kilos of meat just to cover my fixed costs and then take it from there. Question becomes, who's going to buy that meat? So again, it totally doesn't make sense to me as a business for me. But for someone who just needs some spare cash, like my teenagers, maybe we'll continue exploring. I can buy that business insurance. I could increase my house insurance and go through all the other steps. So next step, so let's go back to the business. So we know the costs, the fixed, the variable, the profit margin. That's great, seems to still make sense. How are we going to advertise? So I started making these nice pictures, and hopefully you agree that they're semi-nice. They're kind of not professional. This is iPhone cameras and all that, and posting them on Facebook. Hey, my friends know my cooking. They've tried it many times, but now I'm putting it on Facebook. I'm making it sound and smell nice over Facebook page. Then we went camping with, say, a dozen other families, and I brought my meats. We created like a little tasting event where I would say, hey, we're planning to open it up. We heard that some people don't mind buying. So we are happy to start taking orders, but try it out. So we served the table, and people tried our meats, and we got some orders. I don't know, probably 20 kilos of various meats that I'm yet to prepare. Then we said, okay, it seems to be working. Now, do I want to pass it on to kids? Do I need to get them involved in the business? Washing dishes, preparing spices, making sure the gloves are warm, how to operate the smoker. Like, it's pretty interesting. It's a family dynamic. Now it's dad teaching kids how to make money out of thin air, really, from your own efforts in marketing and cooking and whatnot. We also went into a little research. So my input costs are obviously, a lot of it is the raw product. the meat itself and the spices and the plastic for the vacuum. So can we find something cheaper? Are there businesses that sell wholesale to other businesses? Maybe I can get some wholesale prices if I buy in bulk. Maybe I can get those even delivered to my home. And we did find a few places that sell cheaper, let's say, chicken. We found definitely cheaper spice pricing. We've been surprised that sometimes that you buy it in a local store, you weigh it. Now that I need to weigh and measure my ingredients, I was surprised that it seems like the local store gonna sell it in like these little like foam containers covered in plastic. The weight of the container is included in the weight of the chicken that you're buying. So now I know. I also we bought a scale because now I need to scale and measure exactly how much is it that I'm selling to someone. If they ask for 1 kilo of chicken, it's never a kilo. It's 0.950 or 1.1, whatever that is, depending on the pieces. So all of those little things, they make the business, and it was so exciting. I don't know. I'm excited. I know I'm not making any reasonable amount of money. Like I'm making probably a couple $100 out of this initial sale, and sort of the friends are willing to buy my meats because then they know it's tasty and they like them. Let's see if any of them become returning customers. I also know that I'm opening myself up to liability. I also know that this is not the best use of my time by any means, but it's kind of exciting, and it shows that any hobby, if sort of properly applied to business principles, could become a business. I know totally that if I were to expand my advertising to through Facebook, if I create my YouTube videos walking through the recipes, if I start advertising it to not only my friends but also maybe neighbors, and ask for referrals and such, I could probably ramp this up, and we'll buy a bigger smoker. We'll probably find a better, find a bigger fridge that stores only this meat and nothing else but this meat. And that way you can make an extra money on the side. It's not going to make $1 million to anyone, but at the same time, hey, a lot of businesses probably started from their garage. Who knows, maybe my chicken and bacon are going to make me a couple of million down the road, and if it becomes a brand, and I'll start branding and hiring people and supervising, and God knows, I don't mind if this becomes legit. I can go to all the locals deli stores, find out what they're charging, how do we deliver food to them, make it in bulk and rent out the commercial chicken kitchens, and there is a way to scale it. So long as the profit margin is there, there's always a way to scale your business, and the customers are happy. You can continue operating. If, let's say, I get fired from my job and lose all of my millions of dollars of equity all over the different investments that I got, this could be a neat way of sustaining my retirement. I can easily make a couple of $1,000 a month just cooking up meats, which I like anyway. So here you go. Let me know what you think. And this video is certainly a different style than all my others. So be looking forward to your feedback. Thanks, guys, and next time we'll cover some other strategy that helps us make more money with the existing capital that we got.